Adam Smith, welcome back to ISN Network. How's it been so far, man? Let me get straight into it. Kell Brook in Sheffield, man. What a result.
Yeah, it's a very good result for Kell. He needed it. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he got the job done. I mean, we all knew he was on his day on form, levels above Mark DeLuca. He was just getting and improving, and after 14 months out, he's been well documented as saying that sometimes he's not lived the life properly, and he's obviously knuckled down in the last sort of 3 to 6 months back under Dominic Ingle, which I think is a really good move for him. He came to the Sky Studios this week, and he's buzzing. He wants the huge fights. Whether that be Liam Smith or Amir Khan or one of the Garcias or even bigger. I mean, there's so much out there for Kell.
There's talks about him fighting Liam Smith. I mean, what's the possibility of that?
Yeah, it's a massive possibility. I mean, it's a great fight. It's a great fight for Britain. Love to see it. I'm very keen on a card at Anfield if we can get it made with maybe Callum and Billy Joe or Callum and Eubank or something like that, and Liam and Kell would fit beautifully on that card. But I think Kell Brook also wants to win a world title, so if they could get him a shot at that first. Or I'm not done and dusted with Amir Khan quite yet. I've been speaking to Amir, and I don't quite know the direction he's going in. I know he's got another baby due, and he's not finished. And I know he'll want the big fights now. Whether he thinks he can get Manny Pacquiao or one of those names in the ring, but it's Kell Brook rated really well for us the other night. He's still a big name. Big name, and so is Amir Khan. So I'm other people might have forgotten about it, but I'm not completely out the woods with that one yet.
Fair enough. Can you see an Errol Spence Brook too? Can you see that happening at all?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a rematch that would really appeal to Kell. I mean, Errol Spence has gone on and proved himself as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. I was there for his terrific win over Sean Porter. I thought Porter was incredible that night. And Spence still managed to come away with a win. He's top draw. It's whether Errol Spence will want that. Whether he'll see that as a slight step back. But I think Kell will need a couple of really good wins. He'll probably need to win a world title, maybe at another weight, and then they could do him and Spence again. Who knows? But yeah, it's certainly a possibility. But I don't know. We've still got to. Kell's still got to prove himself at top level again. He's done it against Mark DeLuca, but let's be honest, Mark DeLuca was a good fighter, a club fighter, but he's never fought at anywhere near the class of Kell. So let's see whether if Kell can do a real number on Liam Smith, or he can get a version of the world title up at 11 stone, then we're talking those sort of big fights again. But one step at a time for Kell. And how much time does he have left? As I said, nearly 34. He's had a hard career. I think we're probably looking at probably 18 months, 2 years. This is where we've got to get the best out of Kell Brook. He needs to fight 3 times at least this year.
Fair enough. Just moving on there. How important is this Josh Kelly fight? How exciting do you think it's going to be?
It's a brilliant fight, isn't it? I mean, it's a fight we wanted to see on the Brooks and Rafa card 15 months ago. I mean, it's a fight that fell down at the last minute. Unfortunately, since then, David Avanesian's gone on to do some wonderful things, becoming European champion in style. It's a really, really interesting fight. Josh Kelly's probably not had the best year. He certainly hasn't shone. He's been pitched in hard. He's had decent performances, but they've not been dazzling. And I think he needs to really shine on March the 28th. He's got the talent. He's got the ability. But there's a lot more to boxing than just that. You've got to have the minerals, you've got to have the experience, you've got to have the knowledge, you've got to have the caginess at times, you've got to be able to deal with big occasions. There's a lot more, and I think that if Josh Kelly has all that, he wins on March the 28th. He's got the ability, but I think Avanesian hits hard, he's tough. There's a lot of people I've been talking to who fancy him in this fight. So it's one of the good matches that we've got coming up on Sky, and may they continue. I'm really pleased Eddie put that together.
Fair enough. And we've got Buatsi back in the ring.
Yep.
It's been quite a while. I know I'm moving a bit forward, but can we see that fight between him and Yard in 2020 or 21?
Yeah, Joshua Buatsi needs some real momentum now. He had a stop-start year. He's got amazing ability. I've always said I think he'll become a world champion. I think he's got the real class both in and out of the ring. But he needs to keep busy. And I was very disappointed not to see him in the back end of the year in November in Manchester with that Katie Taylor night and Anthony Crolla. He needs to fight. Joshua needs to fight. He needs to keep rolling. And it's a big year for him. I think I was hoping 2019 would be the real breakthrough year for him. It was a good year, but I think this should be a great year for Buatsi.
Fair enough. We've got Conor Benn here that seems to increase his stock level. Can we see him becoming a British champion at some point?
Conor Benn's a huge name, isn't he? I mean, not just the Nigel Benn connection, but the sort of character he is in his own right. He's exciting. He says what he believes. He hits amazing numbers digitally and socially for us, Conor Benn. So people are fascinated with him, and he always is in good fights. So yeah, I think we can see Conor Benn moving on and up this year. How far he goes, we have to wait and see. But it's very exciting times. He puts bums on seats, and people want to watch him. So yeah, let's get him rolling too.
Warrington signs with Matchroom. Adam, talk to me about that. Did you know about any of that before?
Rob Temple just asked me actually, which he knew that Eddie forgot to tell me. We didn't forget to tell me, but I think he was under strict instructions not to say anything. And I think before the press conference, he probably should have given me a call. And I've ticked him off about that. But I had a slight inkling that it might happen. Josh Warrington is a great fighter. He was a good fighter when he was with us before.
Yep.
Really good, and I love the story of Leeds and the fan base, and he's so down to earth and he's so exciting to watch as well. And Frank Warren did a brilliant job with him when he left Sky and went to BT and Frank, and they've seen him in great fights with Selby and Frampton and Kid Galahad, and he's moved up and on. He's become the #1 featherweight in the world. So they've done a terrific job with him. And when I found out, it doesn't matter how I found out, but I found out. We got him back. I was, straight on the phone to Eddie, straight on the phone to Josh, and said, welcome back, because it's really exciting that we've got a chance now to work our Sky magic on him and take him even further to big unification fights. I want to see him fight in the summer in Leeds. I want to see him fight in America. I think it's a great move for him because of Eddie's connections in the States. And happy days. But I want to say, well done to Frank and his team for the way that they've brought him to this level, because when he left us, we weren't sure, and he's proved to us, and they've done a great job in some big fights. So, but onwards, we've got him now, and it's great news.
Fair enough. I'm going to let you go into one more question before you go, because I can see everything's going on. Quick fire one. Dubois Joyce, just tell me who you think's going to win that one.
Great fight. All difficult. I know Joe Joyce pretty well, but I think Dubois is very talented. I think Dubois within 5 or 6, but if it gets tough, Joe Joyce is a very hard man, and if he can withstand the sort of storm and just sort of make himself a nuisance for a while, I think he could come on late. But I lean towards Dubois for that, and obviously very excited about Fury and Wilder next week too.
Fury Wilder, who do you think's got that?
Again, I think it's a pick-em. I think it's a very interesting fight. Fury should win. He's got the skill set. He did it last time for me by 2 or 3 rounds, and that included the 2 knockdowns. But the equaliser lies with Wilder. I commentated on 2 of Deontay's fights last year against Brazil and Ortiz. He's the hardest puncher I've seen in the heavyweight division since going way back. Pete
Harder than Mike Tyson?
I think single punches, yes, probably. Combinations, the speed of Iron Mike at his absolute peak was pretty frightening. But you've got to go back to the likes of Ernie Shavers, and even before that, for George Foreman, the really big punches. I think Wilder's a freak in that department, and you can't blink, and he could catch him within the 12 rounds. So it's a very close one to call.
Thank you, Adam Smith, for coming to ISO Network.
No problem.